Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Like Attracts Like podcast. I'm your host, Pat Mahan, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things, the subconscious mind, the role it plays in our patterns, how it creates and manifests our lives, and how we can start to use simple realizations and techniques to change the information that's stored in our subconscious mind so that it not only begins to decrease our anxiety, but it will also help to increase your positive momentum and help you actually begin to create the life that you're starting to believe you deserve. So stick around. We're going to get right into it when we come back.
Take a look at life from a different perspective. What if life is happening for you and not to you? This is the Like Attracts Like podcast with your host, Pat Mahan.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us once again. We've covered quite a bit about how, in order to take some of the stress and change perspectives on thought patterns, the best way to do that is to understand that there's two of you. There's a subconscious mind that thinks and repeats old patterns and beliefs, and then there's the one who's aware of that, who's aware of the narrative. You can always use the analogy of a computer and then the one who is watching the computer screen and interpreting the data that's presenting itself based on the inputs that you provide the computer. I believe we work the exact same way. I believe that your subconscious mind is the computer. It's what stores all of the sensory information that you've programmed it to store and categorize from the day you can possibly remember until now. It stores your memories. It stores your beliefs. It stores thought patterns, which we attach emotions to, which is why you can think a thought from a previous time that you are not currently in and then experience that emotion. It's not the thought that does that to you. It is the emotion that you attach to the thought that recreates the feeling in the present moment. And there's a way around that. It's not something that is mandatory. It's not what you are deemed to live over and over and over again in a cycle, and you can never escape these negative emotions or thought patterns. You can test this theory by going back into your memory, if you will, to some difficult time or challenging time in your life, something you thought you would never get past that you ultimately did get past and maybe even learned a lesson from. You can now, most of the time, think thoughts regarding that situation and feel almost even gratitude. So the same thoughts that you thought were going to do you in, now in a later stage of your life with a newer perspective on that same situation, you're free of the emotion that it created at the time and the emotion that you went through. You have a different perspective. You can do that with anything that you have gone through in the past, and you can do that with anything that you're currently going through. The secret is to awaken from the fact that you are destined to repeat and relive these negative emotions based on these negative thought patterns and these challenging older situations that, when focused on, will only create newer situations that match it. There'll be different people, there'll be different places, there'll be different situational content, but the overall emotion that it's providing you is the same. And that's because we have to break away from those negative thought cycles and then the emotions that we think are directly attached to them. We are attaching them, and we can break free from that attachment. It begins with a new perspective, and then it also begins on allowing the thoughts to enter your present mindset without attaching the negativity to it. Thinking a different way about an old thought pattern will break you from the emotional tie that you had to it. It's not magic, and it is possible. The fact that it is possible and that other people have been able to do this, and even you have been able to do this in your past with prior scenarios that you thought were going to break you, that you've overcome, and then you've moved past and learned lessons from. Your current situation is no different. You just have to be open and positive-minded enough to allow the new perception to come in and then allow you to learn and grow from the situation that you are perceiving in maybe a negative way. So as the viewer of the content on the screen that you've asked for from your subconscious or your computer, you're allowed to change what you input into the computer, and then that will change what the computer stores in it. Separate that in your mind and know that that is how our conscious and our subconscious mind works. Your subconscious mind is very much rooted here in a physical reality, while your conscious mind is very much timeless. I believe it's infinite. It's attached to your higher self and the collective consciousness of the universe that we are all a part of. They are both working together to create the life that you want to live, but it's based on the beliefs and the narrative that is stored in your subconscious. Each moment, the universe is asking you how you feel about something, how you feel about what you're experiencing. Is this something something that you want in your life, or is this something that you do not want? Is this how you want to feel, or is this how you do not want to feel? If you feel stuck, it's because you're continuing to consult your old negative beliefs or emotions. You are subconscious, and you're regarding them as real in a new or present moment, bringing that emotion into the moment with you. My first tip on the way to get unstuck is to realize that the new version of you that you want to be and the things you want to experience as them doesn't exist inside of your mind. It doesn't exist in your subconscious. Your subconscious is a collection of old memories, beliefs, and paradigms that you believe to be true. The new version of you exists in your heart, in your soul, in your alignment with what you feel and know to be true for you. The infinite field of possibilities that exists in the world for you, the new thoughts you need to create that person, they don't exist inside of you. Your old ones do. The new ones exist in this collective consciousness that we all have access to. You have to tune yourself into the vibration of that by letting go of the old emotions that are hidden in the old thought patterns. You can begin to do this by understanding that those thoughts don't belong to you. You choose whether you allow them into your conscious awareness or not. You decide and know that past difficult situations are meant to guide you, and current challenging situations are here to let you know you're accepting less than you know you're worth. If you're holding on to something that's already served its purpose, by holding space and energy in your mind for an old pattern that has already served its purpose or isn't serving you anymore, you're clogging the pathway for new energy, for new beliefs, and for new opportunities to make their way into your current reality and your current focus. The narrative in your subconscious mind has to be exposed. It has to be partnered with and made friends with, not feared and pushed down and forgotten about, because it will only come back up to ruin another present moment by focusing on it. If it's not let out into the light of your awareness, then the hidden, secret, negative narrative of your subconscious mind will create loops of loss and negative, self-destructive, codependent behavior. It will continue the loop of believing your strength is outside of you, or that you need to give your power away. So the beautiful thing is that this is something that can be recognized and worked with and applied in every current moment until you're getting the results that you want and feeling the way that you want to feel. The results will come after that. But if you're feeling the way that you want to feel, then really the results become secondary. And that's the beautiful thing about this. The subconscious mind itself is not going to change easy. It's programmed not to. Think of all the things that your subconscious mind has to do. All of the things that you don't think about consciously. You're breathing, walking, balance, driving a car, riding a bicycle. These are all things that your subconscious mind has learned, created a pattern for, and does without you even knowing. You don't have to consciously focus on these things. That's how you can drive a car on a road that you're familiar with, make it to your house, and barely remember the trip. Your subconscious mind has helped you. The reason it's so difficult to rewrite what your subconscious mind has retained is because it's been wired into it due to the importance of what the stored information does for you. Your subconscious mind also stores your belief systems. Your overall view on life is stored in the memory banks and neural pathways of your brain. What you think of yourself, your entire sense of self, it's designed to do that so that it can make sure you behave consistently with the things that you have told it you want in this life and in this world. We aren't supposed to be sad for long. We aren't here to put our love and strength in material things because we feel the need to compensate for something that we lack inside. We aren't supposed to be ungrateful for how amazing the world can be. Just always try and remember when you are living something other than what you want. It's not the world that has done this to you. It's not the world or your situation that has put you there. You can insert any tragedy, any negative mindset, belief, any horrible life-shattering situation right here, and I will still tell you that there is a version of you that has moved past it. And although there is a process and a pace that we need to allow ourselves to grieve or be upset or come to grips with what is happening to us and how it's happening for us and not to us, or to analyze the current things that are happening in general, know that the goal is not to stay there. It is to be aware of where it's coming from and why it's making us feel this way. Is this what life is showing me because I feel I'm a victim? Or is this what life is showing me because of choices that I'm making that are in opposition to what I know my heart and soul would want to be doing in this moment? Again, the GPS system of our life is emotion. So what stops us from doing this? The number one reason that I struggled, and the number one thing I see others struggling with, is the relationship they have with the very pain that's holding them back. If someone has been in pain for a long time and has had a history of being the one who is struggling with something, the one who is always on hard times, the one life never seems to work out for, this is an identity that forms from the entirety of their existence. And more importantly, it's how people learn to get love. We all learn to get love different ways as we grow up. If pain has been a part of someone's story for a long time, changing that pain is changing the story that they tell. This is why a lot of people can't or won't allow themselves to get better. It creates a paradox where someone wants to get better, believes they deserve better, but won't allow themselves to do what it takes to get out of it because of this relationship they have with the pain or with the position that they're in, the comfort factor of where they are and the work they believe it will take to get to where they want to be. They don't have the rewired subconscious thoughts and beliefs to sustain it, so they fall back. Or they act a role that isn't genuine to them, and then the universe and the law of attraction bring them back to where they believe they should be. But it's all based on a personal belief that can be reevaluated. Any perceptions can change. If anyone who has ever been in a position that you are currently in or were in has done it, that means that you can. Any negative thought patterns that may have popped into your head while I said that is literally your subconscious arguing for your limitations. It's not real. You can override that. People attach an extreme importance, people, places, things, but most importantly, their pain. They will defend it, lie for it, justify the reasons for staying in it. And to be honest, for me, I did the same thing. It was because of my fear of being without it, without the pain, without the crutch that I had in my life when I was younger, the victim card I used to use on the daily. I literally passed Spanish my freshman and sophomore year because my mom passed away when I was 13. And the teacher felt so bad for me. If ever I wasn't doing my best or achieving what I wanted, if I was sad, if I was unmotivated, I had a narrative of how could the world / God / universe do this to me? Life isn't fair. It's too hard. Why doesn't this seem to happen to other people? When is the next shoe going to drop? But then also seeing that the universe was responding to the message that I was putting out, letting me live out my excuses, finding temporary happiness in material things and achievements, codependently getting attached to people who would leave me. That cycle continued until recently. And it's a cycle that I witness in many of us. The entire truth is that, yes, the life my younger version went through was, I would say, challenging. Major loss, complete uncertainty all the time of things that I seem to be so certain of. Lifting the veil young as to the way society views things and knowing I had a different way that I thought it should be, seeing how different my heart was from what my eyes were seeing and feeling like I didn't belong, that I wasn't enough. And if things could get this crazy for me this young, then how were they ever going to be stable and okay? How could they? This narrative became my belief system embedded into my subconscious. The same pathways as my breathing. It was how I saw the world and what I believed the world had in store for me. And that is exactly what it showed me for years, for most of my life. At the core of all of this narrative and the beliefs that led me to so many heartbreaking experiences and drama and more loss and confusion, at the heart of it all was a young version of me who still didn't feel like he was enough and was scared and was unsure and confused. This was the core belief that ran my dialogue and made almost every day a challenge to face. Of course, most of us, and definitely myself in the past, we can have a hard time being vulnerable, showing the world that we're scared, that we're nervous, or that we've been hurt and haven't found the proper perspective to move past and gain any gratitude or perspective at all. Because showing that side is not only a sign of weakness in this society, but also most people who come into contact with someone being vulnerable, they are usually vulnerable too, but they aren't going to most likely show you that vulnerability. That's something we can keep in mind when we compare our inner thoughts and maybe lesser than dialogue with what we see from other people. Other people are going to show you their A game, their movie A role, their best self, the person they want you to see that they are, not necessarily the person that they believe they are. This is an unfair comparison for us to make because although you may be putting your best self out there also, you are fully aware of your personal narrative, the one that may think negatively, the one that may not see things always from a positive light, the one may not think things are possible for you. And from a place of lack, this is where we create the gap between ourselves and everyone else. The version of you that you are comparing to everyone else's best self is your B-roll versus everyone else's fake or want to be A-roll. Knowing that this is a reality and this is how things work, you can see that it's the narrative that must change, not the world. If you wait for the world to change your narrative, you will never be able to create the proper perspective that you need from the inside out that allows your new narrative to change your world. With that narrative and belief of your subconscious mind challenged and the emotions detached from them, sometimes in a moment of being fully present present, you can meet that person that you are aiming to be. You get that idea, you create that thing, or you help that person that leads to the next step in the manifestation of whatever it is that you want for yourself. Another quick tip to make you feel better: know that there is a version of you that thinks the way you want to, does the things you want to do, and believes what you want to be true for you. You meet that person in spurts. When you're happy, you find them. You aren't just having a good day so you're happy. That implies that it was the day that made it good. It wasn't. It was your mood in handling the situations of the day that made your day good. It started with your mood, not the day itself. Dissect this so that it becomes tangible for you, so that you can become excited about how this works, starting with yourself and your emotion that you want to feel, and then take your power back. A quick example: let's compare days. If you wake up and put 2 feet on the floor, get a text from someone that you weren't expecting, something that just made your day, you're super happy, you're smiling, you're ready to take on the day, your inner narrative is identifying with the positive patterns that you have in your brain. It was an unexpected surprise, a feeling of anything is possible. This day is going to go great. You're exactly who you want to be in those moments. Today's starting out awesome. You get to work on time. Everything seems to be flowing, coming into your path at the right time. Even bad, quote unquote, things that you knew were going to happen today didn't turn out so bad. You're able to hold your good mood all day. Today was a good day. But now take that exact same day, stub your toe while getting out of bed before you get that text. Immediately, your old subconscious tapes are going to come into play. Something like, here we go again. So that's how today is going to be. Great. That's just what I needed. Way to start the day. You end up being late. All of the things that you expected to go badly do. Of course they do. And how else would they go for you? Today sucked. Today was just like all of the other days that suck. Life is hard. You have a feeling of no control. You just let the snowball of negative momentum carry you through the day. You can almost feel the difference in these two examples. From an egoic state of limitation, one could argue that the difference was the fact that on one day, you stubbed your toe. That right there is the biggest breakthrough of all of them. That the limited mindset that we create from lack and uncertainty, it's showing you the secret of how this all works. You're going to stub your toe. Life is going to bring you contrast. There will be challenges that ask you to bring your highest version to them in order to grow and evolve, but they do not define us. The days were the same. Your perception of how it was going to go is what gave you the good or bad day. The expectation that challenges are something that we need to avoid comes from the lack of belief in oneself to be able to overcome the challenges that we're presented with. It's not the challenges that we face in this life that make it difficult. It's the limiting perspective of control that you believe you have over them that makes your life more difficult than it maybe has to be. The difference between a good day and a bad day was you subconsciously allowed yourself to align with your higher version for longer during the good day. That's it. And now you can realize and understand that you control that no matter what is going on. Don't allow the good day or bad day to be on the quote unquote challenges that you've been presented with. Know that challenges are a part of every day. Your perception of good or bad will be how long you could stay in the vibration of the thing that you want, not identifying with what is going on that you don't want. You control the alignment between who you are, who you want to be, and how you want to feel. Days will be days. Every moment is just that. It is a moment, providing you with evidence of how you feel inside and your beliefs on how things are going to go for you. So give yourself time to replace your inner dialogue. Be gentle with yourself now that you've revealed all that this is and the main components and energies that are at play. Unconsciously, the world can be a very scary place, but know that waking up to this and becoming a conscious creator in your life based on new inputs to your subconscious that are based in real logic, you can see big changes moving forward. Don't allow the old negative banter of the old subconscious to creep back in after you've debunked the lies of its old story. Literally, don't allow it. You choose what you allow into your conscious awareness. You are not forced to listen to your old story. Imagine your new subconscious as a crystal clear lake of possibilities, and old thought patterns that you know that are BS are going to pollute it and taint it, turn it into some old marsh that you had before. Don't allow that. Start there. The last part of this process, and to wrap this all up, the part of allowing your subconscious mind to be realigned with your upgraded narrative is realizing that as you go, you're going to be creating a new momentum, new energetic, positive experiences and synchronicities in your life. You're going to start to see them. You're going to begin to see evidence of your new positive perspective and narrative brought to your awareness by the law of correspondence, or the law of attraction, if you will, or like attracts like, which is the entire name of the podcast and what I believe believe in firmly that what you focus on expands. But you'll also be dealing with another one of the Hermetic principles, and that is the law of rhythm. Being aware of this law as you begin to alter your subconscious perspective is critical, because as you go, you're going to be dealing with old energies from past belief systems that are still active for you, and you'll need to clear them up. You'll need to clear them up with the same alignment to your higher self that you're working on keeping. To address old energies, the old vibration that created them only creates the negative loops we find ourselves in. You can even see now that this is how it literally works in our lives. If you're conscious of the fact that it will not be all pleasant as you progress, but you understand that the momentum has been built and that you have a new perspective to handle and heal the old energies and momentum, then they'll disappear too, and you'll now begin to create your life at that new level. And eventually, you will have healed and allowed and addressed so much of the old negative story and momentum that it will create new space for new ideas and new inspiration and new experiences that every single day holds. You'll stop waiting for a good day to give you permission to experience the emotion you want to feel and be the person you want to be. I wish that for each and every one of you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this episode to a close. I want to thank you all one more time so much for listening, for reaching out, for commenting. I was able to even meet a few of you out and about this week, and I've got to tell you that it made my day to hear your stories and listen to the interaction with the show and people who are taking the time out of their day to listen every week. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it. If there was anything in this episode that you found valuable or had questions on, feel free to reach out on any of the Like Attracts Like podcast social media. You can email us directly at likeattractslike11@gmail.com. And until next time, rewrite the narrative of your life so you can live the life that you want to live. We'll see you next time.